Hello, my name is Dan Skinner, and this is my Spring 2021 movie review project for Dr. Garland for EDU 539. The movie I'll be reviewing today is the 1992 version of Mice and Men. I watched it on March 7th, 2021, and I chose this film because I read the book in high school and I realized I had never seen the movie. I was curious what changes there might be and if it still produced the same feeling of predatory, fallen world. The genre is a social realism historical drama. The film features performances from some very well-known actors. John Malkovich played Lenny Small. Gary Sinise, who also directed and produced the film, played George Milton. Sherilyn Fenn played Curly's wife, and Casey Siemaszko played Curly. Ray Walston also played Candy. George and Lenny are migrant workers who start work on a California farm at the outset of the book. It becomes clear that Lenny has a mild mental disability and relies heavily on George for guidance, who in turn relies on Lenny for his physical strength. You can tell they are loyal friends. As they work, they meet Slim, a skilled mule driver, the boss's son Curly, who is prone to jealousy and bursts of anger, Curly's flirtatious wife, and Candy, a swamper missing a hand who has an old dog. Lenny's immense strength paired with his mental disability are eventually the reason for his undoing. Slim gives Lenny a puppy to care for, which he inadvertently crushes while petting it. Curly's wife comes to console him, and when she allows Lenny to touch her hair, he grabs her too hard, causing her to yell, and in turn causing Lenny to break her neck. He runs off to a spot predetermined by George to go if there's ever trouble, and that is where George finds him after the farm starts a lynching mob. George kills Lenny out of sympathy for what would have otherwise happened, after telling Lenny his favorite dream about feeding chickens on their own farm. This movie cannot be the same without Lenny's disability. The movie is a constant struggle for George, who believed it was possible to rein in Lenny's strength and eventually achieve their goal of living on their own farm. Lenny's disability and its effect on George serve the greater themes of the movie of the weak die and the strong survive, and the hopeless fantasy of the American dream. Inclusion of those with disabilities comes twice in the film. Once with George including Lenny in his life and helping him to succeed, and again with Candy, who only has one hand and is still allowed to work on the farm. Lenny clearly has some sort of mild mental disability that is never named, but he exhibits characteristics commonly associated with autism. His frequent repetition and use of echolalia, the fact that he is normally very forgetful but always remembers he will feed the chickens on his dream farm with George, and his sensory attraction to soft things and how he is easily overwhelmed by noise are all telltale signs he is autistic. This is especially impressive because the original book was written in 1937 and autism was not even used as a diagnosis until 1943 by Dr. Leo Kanner. Lenny has to deal with a society that is not at all accepting of mental disorders or even aware of what they are. People with mental disabilities are simply referred to as slow or dumb. And in the movie, George says that the reason for Lenny's behavior is that he was kicked in the head by a horse as a child. In another time, awareness of autism could have prevented this whole tragedy and saved Lenny from a lynch mob, keeping George from having to shoot him. While this movie cannot work without Lenny, the struggle to survive he shares with George serve a greater purpose in helping to capture the themes of only the strong survive and of a predatory, fallen world where hope and kindness are luxuries few can afford. Thank you for watching. My name is Dan Skinner, and this has been my movie review of Mice and Men.